All right. Wonderful people of Earth. Welcome to another edition of Geektastic Sci-Fi here on Free Agents Media. How you guys? How you guys?
Yeah.
Surviving
Turn
another week of the vid, you know.
God.
I'm tired of this isolation, boys. I'm gonna throw that out there right away. This cabin fever shit is real.
Stop your bitching!
I just wanted a reaction. I needed a reaction once we got it.
Yeah. Just like y'all motherfuckers trying to walk anyways. Listen, I'm not. No.
Crazy day.
Oh, shit.
Wild day. I feel like a lot of stuff happened today that we.
That doesn't affect us, but it completely affects us and the rest of the world. Yes.
I mean, it does affect the world in the sense that the wildness happening and the way the world looks at democracy, because for some reason America has become the beacon of democracy, which I don't really understand why, but whatever. I mean, I know everyone will, because I've had conversations with people and they're all just like, yeah, like, you know, they stand for the most free and democratic elections in the world. And I'm like, but they've been doing gerrymandering and a whole bunch of shit for like fucking 30 years to make sure people can't vote and women couldn't vote and people of color couldn't vote. And like every chance they got, they made sure that only certain people could vote. And it's only and even I remember I was listening to, I think it's Maul on the Joe Budden podcast, who's talking about how his mom, when she would go to vote, when she was of age to vote, they still weren't allowed to vote because they would like threaten them. They'd have like KKK at the voting booth, at the voting stations. And we're talking like, he's talking what, 60s, 70s? So when we say America is the land of the free and fair election,
I love like the half laugh. Just the
I'm not.
I wasn't even. How did we get here?
Yeah, you know, this is a good podcast.
I jumped on it because you put down Trump's pardons and Biden's inauguration at the top of the docket. So
I didn't put it at top. I put it like midpoint, which was like skim through. Okay, he pardoned Kodak Black and Lil Wayne to try to make black people happy. There you go.
Sorry. Yes. Let's talk about pardoning. Oh no, yeah. Let's not address.
Who did he pardon?
Kodak, like two rappers. Well, you know Lil Wayne. If you don't know, fucking
yeah.
And Kodak Black, which I don't expect you to know, but he really didn't do. Did Kodak do any kind of standing up for Trump? That was stupid. Right?
No, you know why Kodak Black is probably popular? Because he hates black women, and that's something Trump understands.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know too much about the 23-year-old, but all right.
Kodak Black was the one who made comments about how like he doesn't want to date women darker than him, or made a whole bunch of comments about people being darker and whatnot.
Real quick, what's up, Toby? Real quick, have you seen how dark Kodak Black is, though?
Yeah,
and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying as a man, preferably very dark or actually very dark, he doesn't have a preference over how dark he wants his woman to be. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's
I just jumped in this conversation so late, and I'm super confused as to why we're talking about how dark Kodak Black is.
We're talking about.
So it's all right.
I made the comment. I made the comment that the only reason Trump probably gave Kodak a pardon is because Kodak hates black women as much as Trump does.
That
turned in. You know what? Let me look up the exact quote so that
we
can
go.
You crazy for even thinking that's the reason. Yo, you know what though? On a real note, I hope this starts a trend with. Actually, that's not even gonna happen because he's the reason why there's one bill that's targeting black people anyway. But I was gonna say they need to pardon everyone that's in jail for weed. Period. Everyone. There's some people in jail serving life sentences for weed, bro.
Not happening. Yeah. You know how much like backpedaling and like, oh, we fucked up that is? They're not doing that. Look how long it took them to admit to the Central Park 5. You think they're going to do it?
But here's the thing about that. This is not a case about justice or not justice. It's just a case of law, right? This thing that you pursued people for so long is legal now. there's no reason for those people who are in jail for having ounces of it to be in there for that long.
Oh yeah, no, they need to release those people.
It's
they need to.
man.
The fact that like yoga moms are out there hawking it with their friends now, but there's a whole bunch of people of color in prison.
That's a thing now?
Disproportionately so.
In the suburbs, once they legalize it in some of the states, a whole bunch of like soccer moms, businessmen, all of them started dumping money into the weed trade and start opening up businesses because it was legal now. So they're just like, well, you're going to make money off of it. Meanwhile, you have all these people of color who've been arrested.
Mostly, not to say there aren't others.
No, I know. Yeah. But predominantly people of color that have been put in prison and stuff like that. And charged and given third strikes. The other thing is, like, if your third strike was like for possession, you got like almost life in prison, but you got your third strike for possession of something that's now legal.
Yeah,
I would say that needs to be reevaluated because
you
if you're
more for weed than you do for rape.
Yeah,
man.
Rock Turner got 6 months for what he did, where he was seen assaulting a woman, raping someone, and got 6 months. Meanwhile, you got men in prison.
Football players who go to prison because this girl said they did it, and then turns out she was lying, and they were in there for years.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. I hate that story.
That's the one. That's
but
one
again,
of.
That's one, but like. Yeah.
But we're talking about people in prison for possession, though. Like,
correct.
Like if you're talking about someone having a baggie and they went to prison and they're in prison longer than a guy who raped a woman, like. Come on, what is that system? What is that telling you about the value of a woman's body or the act of sexual assault versus carrying a baggie of weed?
The same system that kills a girl while she's sleeping in her house and doesn't arrest anybody?
Oh yeah. See,
Why are you asking these questions?
Wait. So when we got when we got on, you said, "How did we get here?" And I started talking about how America is not the example of free and fair elections. But
that's how we got here, Brian.
Thank you. You got here because you're bringing it up too.
I'm saying these are just quick skims topics, like little Trump's trying to get one past black people. Let's pardon Lil Wayne and Kodak. And so on, and I guess he couldn't pardon any of his family because that would have just been way too bait. So
I didn't realize that Lil Wayne was still in jail.
No, he wasn't.
He's not in jail.
Caught for possession of a weapon that he couldn't have owned because he's already on parole and so on. Yeah. And then he got caught, and then months before, he made sure to just say hi to Trump to make sure, hey, Trump.
Yeah.
You know.
I called this when it happened. That's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, we all said it. Yeah, everyone was just like, "This is obviously."
He it's so uncomfortable in that picture. Like he's like, wow, I can't believe this is what it's come down to.
But it's the dopest chess move if you think that he had that much foresight. He's like, I'm gonna probably get nipped for this shit.
100%. His lawyers told him to do it. He didn't just decide on his own.
I don't know. Hey, I gotta give Wayne some credit. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Trump reached out to a bunch of different black artists, 50 Cent included.
Damn.
A bunch of them turned it down. Wayne went to his lawyers and said, this wouldn't be enough for it. Can I parlay this into something else instead of taking the money? They're like, yeah, might as well try the offer. Trump said, yeah, it's written in contract. Boom, that's it.
Yeah, it's done.
I mean, at the end of the day, really think about it this way. If that was me, I would have done the same thing. I'm sorry. I'm not going back to jail.
In no way am I not going back to jail. In no way am I saying that as an idiotic rapper who keeps doing stupid shit, I'm not going to try and put in place some contingency plans to protect me when I get stopped on some fuck shit.
For sure.
What did Pharrell say was the best terminology? Sorry, nigga, I'm trying to come home. Snitch? Yeah. That's what I'm
Oh, he was on the Drink Champs, right?
I mean, he just said it before.
He went off a little bit.
He said it before in a clip song where he came up with the hook, sorry, nigga, I'm trying to come home. And then he kind of like elaborated saying,
oh, he fully said he would snitch. He fully called himself a snitch in the Drink Champs podcast.
And I loved it. I loved every one of them.
He said, I am not street. I am not gangster.
Yeah.
If someone's trying to, I will snitch. I'm like, you know what? If that's what snitching, like,
but his description is great. His description when he's doing it though is great though. He's just like, you guys can do this, but this is not me. I'm gonna be over here. Like,
I'm a civilian.
Yeah,
if someone comes and attacks me and the police ask me who did it, I'll be like, well, I saw his face. It was that guy.
I think the commentary for it is more if you are part of this culture, if you're going to make beats and work in this community, in this culture, and part of the culture is trying to protect ourselves against the police because the police come across as obviously more aggressive and like to attack more in this community, then that's why the idea of snitching doesn't look as good. So I get what he's saying, but at the same time, I understand why people who are like, no, don't snitch, because these guys, because sometimes the snitching, you find out that the snitching is something that was like a setup, some corruption, like you're helping them set somebody up. Like there's a lot of questionable antics that have been done in the hip hop industry.
Correct. It's like you're bringing someone else down with you.
Yeah.
It's like there's a code that abides by this whole snitching thing. When you start applying it to just a regular person living their everyday life, you're starting to sort of skew things a little bit here. So I understand what Pharrell is saying. Even though I may hang around gangsters, and produce for gangsters, do not put me in the same box as those gangsters.
Another thing though is in the culture, if you grew up in a ghetto neighborhood, you know, we self-correct. We take we take care of our own. Sure. Like if someone's on some fuck shit, somebody in the community, someone up high took care of business, and you knew that.
I don't know about that because as I'm from around my life, it owes me $500. So I don't
$500.
No, but like back in the day, from like the hood, if you want to put it, there was like, you know, the neighborhood corrupted kid who's like, hey man, okay, my fault for falling for it. And shouts to anybody who remembers. Mike can't know you're watching, but I was just saying, some dude is like, hey, I'll get you a laptop, so on and so forth. $500 later, I lost some money. Hood politics should have taken care of. But hood politics didn't take care of shit.
Was the guy known to be doing it? Like, did people? Because that's the thing, that people have to know he's doing it.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah?
But
Okay.
I wasn't in the streets like that. Like, come on.
Right.
So I'm
Same
going.
Thing. I may hang around with gangsters. I may know some gangsters, but I ain't a gangster.
Right? I'm Pharrell in this situation, and I got $500 taken from me, and I did not snitch. Hearing Pharrell now, I'm kind of like, man, I really should have probably called the cops.
Yeah, right. but because of, it's funny you say that. It's because of your environment and the people you kind of know that you're just like, well, if I did do this, I would look bad out there.
Yeah,
and you don't want to. Yeah, it's weird, right?
But also, it's the environment I'm talking about. I'm talking about North Side Dorval. It's not Compton.
Yeah, you should have had 911 on speed dial on that.
We don't live, you survive. North Side, baby. Like, nah, it ain't like that. But come on.
But that's hard to. That's something that's hard to prove, though. At a certain point, right? It's speculation. There's no contract. There's no way to trace that you gave the person money, so it should have just been handled. You know.
I mean, this brings me back to Susu. Like when I was saying in the community, if you do Susu or you do a box, and an auntie finds out that homeboy didn't put their hand in, then you know someone's gonna take care of it. Is essentially the vibe.
Cut off. I think you're just cut off more or less.
Yeah, but exactly. In the community,
someone does take care of you.
Wowzers. Yeah. That's crazy. So, do you have a definitive list of people like that we know that were pardoned by?
I really know those two that I mentioned prior.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me see if I can pull up the full list of Trump's last-minute pardons. There we go.
What are you trying to show off that shirt for? I see you. What are you doing?
The usual suspects.
I see you. Look at you pulling it down. Like, you saw it. All right.
It was a really long time. I actually was enjoying it myself.
Mans actually did this in front of the camera, Lord.
I was trying to remember who's on the shirt.
Yeah, sure.
I couldn't tell actually by looking in the my videos are too small.
The people listening to you guys don't know what shirt you're talking about here.
Tell them about it.
I have a relatively dope. It's called Gotham Usual Suspects, and it's based off the movie's cover sketch. And you got Catwoman, Bane, Joker, Harley Quinn, and Two-Face. Cool. I just so happened to have found this shirt random. Like I always try and wear a new shirt from week to week. Well, not necessarily new, but like not the same shirt from week to week in the show. And I went into a random pile and I found this. I'm like, I didn't even know I had this anymore.
Dude, I'm looking through this list. There's just no one I recognize here. It's crazy, actually.
Yeah, you're right. It's like
there's no usual suspect.
Rich Bannon.
He did Rich Bannon.
Who?
Wow. though. I thought he wasn't going to.
No, he did it. That was like the one person on his team that he did, or his team, old team. Rich Bannon was like a campaign guy for him.
At the very beginning. That's very, I guess, would you call him alt-right? He has what's that website that he runs? It's a pretty well-known website on the. Hold on, let me see. Rich Bannon website. Steve Bannon. Why do you call him Rich Bannon? Steve Bannon.
That's a rapper name. Rich Bannon.
Yeah, Rich Bannon. I'm gonna keep that one.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Keep that.
Sorry.
Actually, while you search up that, but Tobi, I could ask you this question: have you ever dealt with beat hoarding?
Beat hoarding?
Hoarding?
Do I ever what?
What's that mean?
Well, Dave,
how do you hoard a beat?
Let me explain.
No, you just keep making and you don't release anything. Yeah.
Not even that. Artists that hoard other beats.
Oh, dude, 100%. I've sent stuff out that to this day I don't know what's happening.
Now, Dave, for you and the people that wouldn't know, as producers, we often tend to make new stuff and then just send it out on the fly to like mad people. If you have somebody in my mind, you will send them that beat specifically. Like, here, this is for you. Here
Are you
go.
feeling this or no? No. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
right? But the thing is, with producers, we're not artists. Tobi can sing and rap, right? But I'm like, if I was to do, I'm not doing that. So
I need a lot of autotune. I'm
But in order for us to get out there, we're not just dropping instrumental albums. You could, but not all of us is Jay Dilla. So what we got to rely on, unfortunately, is artists to put their words to our songs so that our music gets out. Sure. Except for these motherfuckers get your beat like April, and then some coming at you at like. Actually, no. And in December, you have to hit them up and be like,
what's happening with this? You're not
right?
going to use it. I have someone else who's probably interested.
So they're keeping it in like prison or confiscating it until you could give it to like the next artist type thing?
Yeah, they're holding it on the behalf chance that maybe one day they'll get like a and get to it. But then by the time they get to it, it's like a year or after you've actually put out the beat. And if you're a nice, okay, there's producers and then there's like nice guys. If you're a producer, you're like 2-3 weeks after that, you've been sent it to somebody else and you're just like, sorry, buddy. You may not even let them know based on courtesy. If you're like a nice dude,
because the rights to that beat is still yours, right? You can do whatever you want with it.
They haven't paid you, they haven't done anything. However, if you're one of them nice dudes, sometimes myself, me just coming back into the game, just trying to reach out to people, boom. You make a
beat pack.
Yeah, you make a beat pack. In this particular case, it was the one, and I sent out one. I'm gonna say, I think you'd be cool with this. But it was also one of the dopest beats I made that year. And here we are in January 21, nothing been done. On top of that, which annoys me, is that when they did hit me up about it, they want me to basically reconstruct and edit the whole thing for their verse that
after all that time. No. See, I have mad ADD. If I sit down, I'll sit down. It took me a while to get the patience enough. Sometimes you make a beat and I just move on to the next one. I don't really like focus on the one. But when I do focus on the one and I send it out and I hear nothing back for a while, and then you're months later asking, unless you're someone of note, then I'll consider it. Otherwise, no. It took way too long.
Right?
Not that I've worked with anyone that's like super reputable yet.
Yeah.
Schoolboy Q is on my list though, man. One day.
I need Schoolboy.
I know, one day.
But I need to get him on the beat one. Like, so back to this situation here, more or less, I get a text like a Sunday night being like, yo. And this is probably after this is after I put out a next song. Like, I had just recently put out a song. So the minute I put out that song, next thing you know, my phone's getting blown. And it's like, hey, man, I was just checking out that beat after I texted you like 1,900 times about it. I was just wondering if you could like mute this part and cut out this. And I'm almost like, first of all, A, it's a sample. There's no turning that down without changing the whole groove of it. B, I made the verses 32 bar verses because I want 32 bar verses. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to switch the style of my shit when C, I haven't even heard your verse. That you haven't recorded. So E, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, dude. I feel
when
that.
When you get to E, there's no more counting, Skinny.
I feel that. There was this one rapper I used to like working with. His name's Philly. He's not used to. I still do. But
like, dropping names. I'm being nice out here.
I would send him. No, this is a good story. I would send him something.
Yeah.
I remember from day one, he would just immediately send me like a voice note of him rapping over it. I'm like, oh, dude, yes, like, you know, and that's the feeling I want every time at the rapper. That's why I'm actually also not just a rapper, any artist. I'm looking for that like artist who I'm just wants to build.
Yeah.
Let's just build together, work together, and let's DJ Mustard and friggin' what's his name out of this situation. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Or 21 Savage and
Metro Boomin.
Yes, Metro Boomin.
Yeah, I have a few artists like that where it's called, to me, it's quick turnaround. Whereas like you send them a beat within like a week, maybe sometimes 2 days.
Even if it's not an engineered like studio thing, they'll send you something back that makes you excited for going to the studio and working on it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I don't. That's I guess the moral of the story here is I don't waste time with people like you're talking about anymore. It's either I said no one nothing or I don't send, or you know what I mean. I that's just a waste of my time.
No, man. In 21, now the moral of this is like in 21, I really gotta like cut that back because you have examples like there's that example where I've known this dude and I've done an album with him, and I guess it's like he's telling me like, you know, I do this like a hobby, and I was like, that's cool, except for I'm 35 and I'm still trying to get a track with Benny, so I don't have time for that shit.
Benny the Butcher?
Well, yeah, I'm trying for sure to butcher, but you know, with these other artists, say I send it to like someone I've never worked with, and I sent them like maybe 6 tracks, and already like 80% of a tape is done. Like,
yeah, I like that. I like that grind. I like that hustle. I like that.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but I am looking. I mean, as a producer, I guess you're always looking for that, though, right? But I got so tired of it that at one point I just started to use my own anyway, just because, like, I have a mic, I have a setup. I might as well try to lay references down to what I think it should sound like, and then start sending that out. If you have the time and you can afford to do that, for sure, I think that's a good way to get people to kind of get. Because sometimes someone could hear something and not necessarily hear like a flow or what it could, you know, what could come out of it. But if you like lay an idea down, it can kickstart that. But at the same time, I also don't like doing it because I find if I put an idea down, it's already in your head now, and whatever you would have done is not going to come out anymore, right? So there's this weird fine line, right? It's crazy.
It's like I really feel strong. It's like the chicken before the egg.
Yeah. It's I really feel if I really feel strongly about the hook I'm thinking of, I'll lay it down. But for the most part, I try to leave even my beats now. When I first, like how we're talking about producing right now, my beats, when I first started out, I used to just put every sound that I thought went with the song. I would just dump it all in there and it would clash. The mixing would be horrible, but they all sounded good individually. Yeah. But when you start putting them together, you get a lot of peaking and everything, right? But as I got more into this, it just became, and I learned it's just more of a leaving the space open for someone to create on it, right? Not necessarily putting every sound, but maybe alternating those sounds. For a few bars, you have these 2 sounds together, and then you add a third in, 8 bars or 16 bars later, and then maybe like on the hook, you take everything out and only. So I literally the structure and stuff like that was like at the beginning for the first couple of years. I think I was just like, this sounds good, right? And I just wouldn't get a response, and not know why. And then a producer friend of mine, Matik, who one day just kind of like was going through my stuff, and he had some good advice on that front too. But hopefully one day, man. I just haven't been as focused as I should be too lately because work has been crazy. But I would love
to kind of go to my next subject. What is your thoughts towards sampling, seeing as to help again with the masses? Timbaland on Twitter recently got aired out again for sampling like Eastern, music, which he's done.
Bro, right? I sample. Most of my beats have something sampled for some genre, obviously royalty free, but I sample all the time. Sampling is part of the game.
Dave, you know what sampling is, and I'm sure there is like bands that do sample as well themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean there's been bands that, I mean, what's it called? Crazy Town made their whole being popular is based off of Red Hot Chili Pepper sample. So
right, up and down. There you go, and that's a loop. That's a heavy one.
But the difference between, I mean, when I'm thinking when Tobi says sample, he's meaning like put a little clip, or when you say sample, are you saying like your whole song's based off of other songs?
As any part you could take, it literally could be the whole song, and all I hear is this one vocal sample. I'm just gonna take that out because I like that. Like,
but are you gonna take that and make that the whole song that you're making? No.
But it might be the base of it. It might be I can find a way to chop it that I could use it for 8 or 16 bars. You know what I mean? Like
I think
there's
it's
so many ways. I can give Skinny a sample, and then I take the same sample, and we'll come up with two completely different interpretations of that sample.
To reiterate on your example, Dave, what the Crazy Town song,
Butterfly.
That is a sampled beat. That's a beat.
But that's a loop.
Yeah,
that's like an 8-bar loop or 16-bar loop of the same sound.
Yeah, but it's considered sample.
It's a sample.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that unless that sample for 8 to 16 bars is just like perfect as it is. I don't like just cutting 8 bars or 16 bars out and just kind of like I kind of like to find interesting ways to mix it, reverse, anyway.
Yeah, but I think
we should talk music more often. I like this.
And when it comes to sampling, I think in my opinion, the way to be fair with it is that, first of all, if you're going to commercialize it, if it's going to be your song, you either have to give royalties and or at least credit. Like example, Crazy Town. The thing that annoyed me about Crazy Town taking that loop, they never acknowledged that was Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like a year ago, this is a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
So
if they cleared it on the back end, they don't have to acknowledge shit.
There you go. As long as
if it's legally handled.
Yeah.
I know, but I guess it depends on like
it's for you to find it actually.
You want to know what song I think in the most recent decade that got people back feeling like, oh my God, there's still so much more out there to sample? As obscure as it may sound to some of you, Kendrick Lamar's Money Trees. Dude.
No, I hear you.
That sample. Whew. And then Schoolboy's
there you go.
Yeah. So get in here. Man of the Year.
But when you listen to, have you heard the original song?
I have, but it's just a portion
at the beginning. It's literally
that's what I'm saying. See, that's what I was trying to tell Dave before. Sometimes that 8-bar, 4-bar at the beginning could be the whole song, and it literally is the whole song. And you just had a sick ass drum to that, and sometimes that's all you need.
And to give like a more in regards to like not just because I feel sampling is always labeled only in like more rap genre, like to give something more current than Crazy Town. Like Green Day's newest album, they have 2 songs. One is Oh Yeah, which is based off of some old song. Like they took a sample off an old song and they actually all the proceeds are going to like a specific charity because they found out that the original creator was like he did some type of abuse towards children. I'm not sure what it was, but he did that. So they're like, fuck this guy. We're going to make a song, and any money from the song, we're going to donate. I think it's towards children. It's either to women or children. I forget which one it is. But they also have another song that they have called Stab You in the Heart, which is essentially them ripping off Achy Breaky Heart, but making like a funny version of like I Hate You instead of like I Love You.
That's a reinterpolation.
But I appreciate the fact that you said for some reason sampling is only associated with rap. It is weird because every genre samples. Exactly. You were bringing up Green Day and they've sampled like Joan Jett and shit like that. Like sample. That's how you find. Like how else do you find inspiration? How else do you innovate? How else do you like hear something and go, oh man, I can make this much better? You know what I mean? Like
there's like storytelling. There's only so many
sound
combinations of playing. Like there's so many combinations of playing a guitar. There's only so many combinations of playing drums.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. I think they're way more vast than storytelling. But like, and the other thing is they're forgotten over time as well, right? Like I guarantee you there's some songs out now are probably some of the exact same as songs that were maybe made 30, 40 years ago, but no one heard of that song and the person was inspired just by their own inspiration. And it sounds the same.
Yeah.
That happens.
Exactly. Parallel thinking. Lee J asked us, is Pro Tools, do you use Pro Tools at all?
No.
What do you use to master your beats afterwards?
The studio? Like
sorry, like mixing tool, I guess pre-studio.
I mix my own beats in FL Studio. When I needed to get mix, I do it myself in FL because maybe throughout years I just know audio levels enough so that I just know how my drum
can make something. Yeah. See, that's the thing.
When I take it to a studio and an engineer puts his hands on it, I literally have to tell them to not touch my shit.
Yeah.
So like, leave it alone.
You tell them not to touch it?
Yeah, man. I'm like,
or is there something you asked you? Oh, really? Okay.
Sometimes I'll let them like, do their little thing, add a flanger here, make them feel special. But if it's like my beats mixed, don't touch the mix.
Okay. See, I feel a little differently about that. Because I always feel like my mix could always be better. I like my mixes, but I feel like there's certain things that I want to do, and the tool I use sometimes doesn't necessarily allow me. I use the machine, the Native Instruments machine.
Right.
I mix in that as well, and then I'll usually, like, if it's a track with someone, I'll take it to the, like, send them the stems and make sure the engineer, and I'll tell them what I want it to sound like, because I don't want my essence to be gone too at the same time. Right. So I get why you do what you do.
Well, I'll stem it out for them. I'll track it out for them, but each track is the same length as a song, and it's already, like, the sound in its song is already mixed. So they really just have to track it and then mute it when they need to, but basically it's there. So.
Yeah, you don't really need to, like, EQ anything too much more or anything like And yes, Lee J, Fruity Loops, aka FL Studios, a ton of producers are still using it. It's one of the most well-known tools out there. I didn't really like the workflow in Fruity Loops. That's why I moved more towards the machine.
If anything, there was a resurgence somewhere around like mustard time, because there was a time it was FL Studios.
How simple it is.
It's simple, but it's not, because
it's got amazing plugins, far much better plugins than the machine.
But it was more or less catered towards house music when it first came out. So then a lot of things that you could do easily, and like, I'm gonna say, I can't even remember the not the Native Instruments, but you know what I'm talking about. The other one that people tend to use
MPC?
too. Not MPC. The other it's a program. It goes with Pro Tools actually, and it's good about Ableton. A lot of people that they would use in Ableton that you got to kind of struggle to do in FL Studio. There's like in FL Studio, there's no like having one pattern at 98 BPM and then your second pattern of the same beat being able to jump to like 108, where you can do that in Ableton.
But you can do that in FL?
I mean, not in the version I'm using. You probably get an FL 12 and 16 and whatever, but I'm here using I think 6. So like emoji.
You can't do that in machine as it is, but you can get Serato sample,
and then you
can do it in Serato sample and change the tempo, anything you want, really, the pitch, and it doesn't really. It's crazy. It doesn't change. It matches the tempo of your actual beat, regardless of the tempo. It's such a dope tool. Honestly, for $100 US, probably the best purchase I ever made in my life. It simplifies and makes sampling so much better. So for anyone looking to sample or produce out there, I would 100% recommend Serato Sample. Timbaland, speaking of which, uses this a lot.
Wow. Okay.
And I also started watching Timbaland's Beat Club on Twitch.
Nice.
So on Twitch, Timbaland has a show where he goes on, I think it's once a week. Huh?
It's a course or is it a show?
It's a live stream where you submit beats to him and he listens to them live, critiques them live, and he has this thing where he either tells you like, plank, he's like, just plank him, and there's like a whole graphic with someone throwing someone off a plank, or like he tells you like how you can make your beat better, or he says it's okay, and if he really loves your stuff, man, which is rare, like in one stream he might like 4 producers out of like 50. Damn. You know what I mean? But just to see someone his age, how long he's been in the game, and just how excited he still is about music and producing and wanting to help.
What kind of beats are we hearing?
There are a bunch of different kinds. Like you can tell beginners, like if you have the ear, you can tell. And he even said recently, he's like, okay, guys, I've been doing this for a little while now with you guys. I just want you to know, if you are sending me this kind of beat, I don't think producing is for you. So he's like, don't submit if you don't feel, or if you're not getting feedback from, like getting that vibe and that feedback from others, and not necessarily just yourself, right? Because that's the only get better is just put yourself out there before sending it to him on the live stream and wasting his time, quote unquote. Right?
Man, I've been wasting my own time for 17 years. This nigga better listen to my beats.
Yeah, he would listen to it. He'll listen to it. He's just very quick. He knows what he's looking for ear-wise. Like there's something he always repeats called it's about the sonics. And it's always about the sounds you choose, the instruments you choose, and how you put them together, and the way you use of your space with your hi-hats. Like he really looks for those intricacies. So he's a very hard judge. Like some of the beats he passes on, I'm like, I could see that being, because sometimes all you need is someone to use your beat, regardless of how quote unquote professional your beat sounds, right? Like we could talk about Bubby Schmurder and his beat for his most famous track, which horrible mix. But it caught, and it's a good track.
Lloyd Banks song too, poor guy.
What's that?
It was a Lloyd Banks song too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Poor guy. But I think you should. I don't know when it's on, but just follow Tim. If you have Twitch, follow Timbaland on Twitch, and it's a fun, cool session. It's a couple hours sometimes. Like I just sit back and listen, or like I'll rewatch it because it's on YouTube. Also, actually, Timbaland's Beat Club on YouTube.
I'm
And
learning.
you can rewatch the last streams.
I'm learning about this Twitch. I just recently refound a producer that I was like, I guess back in 2011, we were on the same album together. I call it I executively produced the album because I did like 7 out of 12 tracks, which is usually how that works. But I know you've heard of this person. Kenny Beats was also on this album with us. And Kenny Beats does his thing on Twitch and I think YouTube. Yeah. I had no idea.
It's just a good way, like, especially if you're just going to be producing anyway, just be like, hey, I'm live on Twitch producing live. And you don't necessarily, you can engage with the people while you're making it. You don't have to take their advice.
Right.
What's his name? T-Pain is also on Twitch. I love T-Pain's stream. T-Pain is such an underrated producer.
Yes.
Dude, it's crazy.
Dave,
but I think that's what it's good for.
To let you know, Dave, Kenny Beats is a producer who kind of went from, he was living in New York and then he moved to LA. And from there, he just kind of got his own studio and started doing this like weekly show where he'll get different artists to come in and just like freestyle and he'll make the beat there live in front of them. And like 9 out of 10 times the beat's okay. I'll say a few times are really, really, really good. But it's from there, he's literally like catapulted himself as a producer. And then from also going on and doing things with T-Pain and Vince Staples and other artists. And it's like, shit, I should get on that Twitch shit.
You should. It's a good way to get yourself out there. And you have way more of a following than I do. It'd be a great place for them to just like know every week at this time, I'm going online and I'm producing. If you're going to be doing it anyway, you might as well just let people in on it. You know what I mean? And then they can give you feedback live, right?
Yeah.
Also, I actually always wanted to know who, if you have to give me 3 producers who ever inspired you.
Okay.
Like your sense of your I wouldn't say your sound because eventually you always imitate people at the beginning. Even with rapping, singing, you almost always imitate someone and then you start to find your own voice within that thing, right? If you continue to do it. Like at the beginning, Eminem sounded like Nas, for example. You know what I mean? So who are the 3 you would say to this day maybe still inspire your creativity?
My 3 of my bases? I'll say the names and you'll hear it right away in my sound. Timbo, Kanye, and Jay Dilla.
Okay.
You hear that?
I'd flip the order and then I hear it.
it is Dilla, Kanye, and Timbo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was actually, that makes sense. I get it. 100% get it.
Yeah.
For me, it would probably be Harry Fraud.
Yikes, I hate that man.
Oh my God, bro.
You know why?
I love his
Harry
production.
Fraud is me.
It's so wavy.
He is wavy. But like, okay, not to cut you off, but there's Dave, you'll understand this because you do music. You've been around it. You know when you have an idea and you've done flipped or whatever, said sample or whatever, but then Harry Fraud will come around and do the exact same shit you did, but because he's
That's why I like him so much because every time I hear one of his beats, I'm like, fuck, I could have made that. Like that feeling of I could have made that, but not because it's bad at all. Not because it's simple. Because that's sonics wise. Speaking of sonics, it's where my ears are at. A lot of his beats.
Sample for sample, myself and Harry Fraud to the point where I had to hate him because I'm almost like, what are you doing? I have this sound. I literally have this beat, and Currency and I don't. Fuck out of here.
Oh man, yeah. At one point, I really wanted to work with Currency too. When
I still want to work with Currency.
Yeah, Currency is dope, man. He's just so in his own lane. Yeah.
I want to hang out with the Alchemist. I want to, shit.
Oh, when you see who Harry Fraud's worked too, I'm like Action Bronson. At the beginning, French Montana. The Coke Boys, French Montana. Yep, not the now French Montana.
Yeah. He did 88 fucking keys.
Yeah, there you go. Timbaland, I mean, I can't not put him on the list just because he has such a range. So much range. And his drums, if there's anything I could ever extract from the man, it would be his drums for sure.
You could because he just makes them with his mouth.
That's true.
He makes his drum sounds with his mouth, beatboxing.
And then he figures out how to layer the dude, man. And he actually sometimes will like produce live on his Twitch stream. If he hears a sample in someone's song that he likes, he'll ask his engineer to like loop it. And he'll just man. So here's another thing is when you're sending these things to him, you have to be kind of aware that you're feeding him a little bit.
That you're feeding him.
Yo, 100%. But he also recently explained, like someone actually asked him, like, what do you do with the producers you do like? Because nobody cares about the ones he didn't like.
Right.
But the one, like, what do you do? And he's like, well, if you're gonna have my stamp of approval, I'm gonna make sure it's up to par. I think they reach out, they talk to whoever it is, and then
bring you in, I siphon you of all your goodness, and then
they put it in a repertoire for A&Rs to look if they're looking for beats. Like, here, these are. So he actually does give you an opportunity.
I feel
but
you
have to have the Timbo stamp of approval.
I feel you, but my big question: look what happened to Danger Hands.
I mean, you can't be afraid though. At the end of the day, to I would love to send Timbo my beats. Matter of fact, I was thinking about doing that recently. I'm like, you know what? I'm an A because he goes in alphabetical order. So I'm waiting for him to get close to the end again, and I'm going to send him. And my producer name is an A goes to the top, so I get to see it soon. Yeah. And did I give my third? No, Timbo, Harry Fraud.
Harry Fraud. Who you got?
It's tough. And he's not necessarily a producer, but his mixing skills are out of this world, man. Mixed by Ali on TDE.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love his mixes, man. There's just something so earthy about
you're in on the mixing. You're a big time audio nerd. That's what.
Yo, I'm trying to get there, but it's one of the hardest things to not to master, but the patience to be willing to like tweak and tweak and tweak on the same beat. Oh, it's tough.
Look on your face.
Because I like I said, I have ADD. Once I like find a full like verse and hook, I'm like, all right, cool, next one. I just kind of like move on, you know. For the longest time, that was my workflow. And then I'll play that for someone, like a loop of like a hook and a verse. And then if you like it, I'll add more to it.
No shit. Okay.
But I don't like wasting my time finishing beats and then not have, you know what I mean? I'm more of an output. And it's definitely not like a quantity over quality thing. Let's not get that wrong, because I have a ton of half unfinished beats, but I also have a ton that are actually finished too. It's just for the most part, I like to just like move quickly. But then if there's one throughout that day where I'm like, that's the one I want to spend time on, then I'll go back to that one.
These days, I'm being tapped for. Okay, this is fuck. Okay,
sorry, Dave. We're excluding.
Yeah,
we just spent half an hour talking about our passions over here.
I want to find a way. I'm finding a way to incorporate Dave with it too.
I'm getting educated. It's quite all right.
Okay, Tobi, have you been tapped to do not a style that's not particularly a style that you're used to or used to doing, but like, have you ever been tapped for that, even though when people know you could do it?
Can you make this type of whatever?
Yeah, because like I'm being tapped currently to make grimy beats, whereas and in my head I'm like, yeah, I got grimy beats, but then when I'm thinking, I'm like, nah, I really got a lot of soul-based horn shit, and I don't make a lot of the dum like Onyx fucking beat your face.
I 100% feel you on that, and like I used to hate it, and today, like I hate it still to this day when someone goes, "Could you make this kind of beat?" Because I know the amount of time I spend on the stuff I make, and they make me happy. And I want you as an artist to, if it doesn't work for you, maybe if you find someone else who will produce. I get it. I appreciate you coming out to me, but I think it disrupts my flow. Right? I spend more time trying to sound like someone else, and I don't necessarily like that. Like Timbo doesn't.
What'd you say?
Huh?
That's like you not evolving in your sound. You have to like put a pause on your evolution of how you want to move as a producer to try and mimic someone else. That's kind of counterintuitive.
Which
counterintuitive.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing either, because there are a ton of people who can, do that. Like Matik, for example, someone that we know, he makes a whole wide range of different kinds of sounds, different kinds of genres, which is not to say that's particularly bad. But for me, I find that it takes away from my creativity. I spend so much time trying to sound like something or try to find something that it just slows me down, and then I just don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when there's a joy I get from hearing something and going, oh, I made that. Like, and then trying to figure out who would sound good on this. Like, there's some sense of adventure in that. Maybe some way down the line, once I'm able to finally say I'm known for this and this is my sound, I can venture out a little bit more and try to do that. But
I feel like you're describing the same thing that, like, I remember to put it as a parallel to filmmaking. Scorsese, I think it's Scorsese that said it once, like, never make a scene like with a specific song in mind that you want to go with the scene.
Yes.
Because if you don't get the song, it could ruin the scene, or it could influence you too much so that you don't tell the story how you wanted to tell the story. I feel like this is comparable to that.
No,
it is 100%. I totally get that analogy. And just to again say, it works for some people. That's just some people. They're good at that. That's what they do. It's just not what I do. I want you to find your voice within my sound. You know what I mean? And that's why I keep saying I want to work with someone that's willing to quote unquote get weird with music, like experiment, like try different. That's why I like Schoolboy so much, because he's so from song to song, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
he has such a wide range of passion. Like he just exudes that anger, that happiness, that like that whatever he's feeling, you get it from a track. He's willing to make a different his voice sound different, or say something in a goofy manner, or you know what I mean. Some people are just too serious on a song, and I just want people to be a little more goofy, be more yourself than the image you're trying to portray.
I'm in the hard spot of catering to certain artists so that I could just get placements and then get a little bit of royalties, because that's always good, or straight up doing, as I call it, the Craven Quest, and paying rappers straight up thousands of dollars to do verses on my beats, which has worked for said 100%. Producer.
If you have the resources to do that, I would do it.
Yeah. Do I have $2,000 to get to a record?
And hope that it blows? I don't know, right? You got to think about that.
You have to have that enough money to keep doing that, so that people be like, yo, who's this guy with a verse from him and a verse from him and a verse from him? And then you have to, like, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money, a lot of work. People have done it and have been successful from it. Yep. It's a gamble.
Super
big gamble. But that's all part of the game, right? You have to just trust that your food is what people want to eat. Jeez. You know what? People want to keep coming back to your restaurant.
I've been cooking 17 years. Niggas.
But the fact that you've been open this long means there's potential there, no?
This restaurant about to close. What do you mean?
That's only because of the pandemic. Everyone's struggling right now.
That's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
all right,
life is legit. That shit is like, watching everything shut down, you're just like, God damn. They're not playing.
Welcome back, Doc.
That was perfect timing. Wow.
All right. I was actually about to say, let's jump into some View the Right Thing here.
View the right thing.
View the right thing. Oh man, we just talked about music for like half an hour. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We need a beat for that intro.
Oh yeah, true. How many times have we said we should make a beat for that?
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Nope.
See, this is the moment we were talking about. When someone tells me to make something and I don't want to make it. Oh man, that's great. Skinny.
Yeah.
Actually took time to watch LA's Finest.
I did
too.
Was it fine?
The clips I was watching on Netflix, that when you scroll on it with John Sally and looks
it was
like
cool. I liked it. I took it for what it was. It was just okay. It's essentially the Fox version of what Bad Boys would be if we could still film things in the 90s, which means really, really, really like the goddamn obvious angles where you're just staring at Jessica Alba's chest.
Oh my god!
Like it's terrible, but it's also like if you're a 55-year-old man at home, you got nothing else to do, you're about to watch this show.
Okay, hold on. So what's their demographic here?
Oh, I feel like the show. I feel like the show is trying to just pick up off the Bad Boys demo. So anyone who would have wanted to see Bad Boys, here's a show that's essentially Bad Boys without Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
And with Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Do they correlate personality wise? Like, could you say this is Marcus? This is
very much.
Gabrielle,
very much,
and Alba is a bit of Marcus, but not really. She's kind of like she's a Marcus that doesn't mind getting dirty.
Yeah,
she's not too much.
Okay.
Yeah, But also,
So wait, Gabrielle is Mike. What's it called?
yes, very much.
Really?
Rides the motorcycle, acts mad aggressive, does crazy shit.
The motorcycle's stupid. She needs to get
Yeah.
out of here with the motorcycle. It's stupid.
Like acts like a lone wolf all the time, even though she needs people. Like there's a whole plot in season 1 where it's just like one of the guys that's trying to screw them over says, "I'm going after someone you love, even though you don't think you love anyone." And then the whole episode is her trying to figure out like, oh wait, I actually care about people. And she's like looking at the pictures of all the people she cares about, even though so far in the show she's acted like she genuinely does not care about anyone. And you're like, okay, you have a heart. We already knew that. What's the point of doing it?
You're a cop. You have to have a heart to a certain degree.
You're a cop. You gotta have a cart.
Like that.
That sucks. I would have kind of liked the roles to be flipped, like have Alba be the wild one, and then have.
Well, it's because Gabrielle Union's continuing the character she played in the movie. And supposedly the character
she was dating Mike. Why am I forgetting his last name?
I don't know.
Mike
Smith.
Will Smith. No, is that
Lowry?
Lowry. There we go. Lowry. Jesus Christ, I can't even remember that for the life of me just now.
Mike Lowry.
I did how Martin Lawrence was making fun of him in the first movie to remember.
Oh my god! Shouts to Castro, my homie. I finally got your rap verse line from years ago. This nigga has a line in the song where he says, "Jakes, as in cops, Jakes be giving me salty looks, Laurie," and I never caught that.
Oh, but you just kept giving him the nod, like, yeah, that's dope, but you didn't know what it meant.
Yo, I told you all.
Go on.
Sometimes when you have somebody that drops a line that you're just like, yo, this is one of the best lines, and it's from a friend, it hits you a whole different way. Like the time I told you guys that oh shit, what's the line now? Oh no, I totally just Jonathan Emile did the line. Oh, you're gonna take 2 L's like Hillary. And I was just like, oof, like the whole idea of like taking 2 losses and Hillary spelled with 2 L's. And she lost twice. Come on now.
She lost
Come on
twice.
now. She lost to Obama when she lost to Obama and then
Hillary.
Trump.
Wow, you know why? What the hell I was thinking? I was thinking Fresh Prince.
So was I.
So yeah, okay.
Yes,
that makes
right.
sense.
You'd have to hear like the whole verse to understand.
There's your triple in there.
Yeah, yo, I was mad impressed with it.
Jay-Z's
it's not a triple. It's a double, right? That's a double, not a triple.
Jay-Z's line on "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe," the remix, where he says, "There's $1 million in it, baby. Hillary Swank sitting next to Hillary, smelling like dank." That is a Hillary. Because Jay-Z don't smoke weed like that. So if he's saying he's gonna sit next to Hillary Clinton smelling like dank, you're like, yo.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Today I actually, like, while I was working, just put in "Get Rich or Die Trying" again, and I have to. Guys, that album, whatever magic is in it, will never ever be recreated.
50 Cent's album, first one.
I like that you mentioned that because we're about to go into WandaVision too.
No, we can find the segue. There's a segue there. I'll find it. Dave, have you listened to this album ever?
No. Get Rich or Die Trying. Okay, you have to understand the history, how he came up, how he got this rap deal, what the whole background, and then listening to the albums, every song.
I would say just listen to it.
My goodness,
that's your homework.
His delivery. The Dr. Dre productions with the Eminem productions and the cohesion, the chemistry, dude, this was lightning in a bottle, this album. Every song is strong. Every single track.
And he released almost
18 tracks.
Yeah, and he released like half of them as singles too. With music videos. Like they were releasing music videos from that album like 2 years after the album came out.
Yep.
My
goodness.
And I remember thinking like, well, didn't this song come out? Like, because I bought the album when it came out, so I remember seeing the music video.
In the club has such a long run that you don't want to. It had like a year's worth of run.
Yeah, you definitely don't step on your own single just blowing up the charts. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, and then like 21 Questions and PIMP, and those are just the mainstream tracks. Yeah. The other obscure tracks that most people don't really reference. Oh my gosh, Eminem is at his best on this album too. It was
many my favorite.
Yes.
The order in terms of release was from what I remember, Wanksta came first.
Yes.
Wanksta came first.
That's because Wanksta was also on Eminem's 8 Mile album. Yeah.
So it was coinciding with the 8 Mile soundtrack. Was Wanksta came first, then In the Club, then 21 Questions, then Many Men, but Many Men didn't get much circulation, and then it died for a bit, and then he popped back up with PIMP, the remix of Snoop. And I feel like right after that, he went into either Candy Shop and Just a Little Bit.
Right after that was the G Unit album. He slowed his album down to get his album. So he put out the G Unit album, then Tony Ayo, then Lloyd Banks, then Young Buck, and then his own album. Oh, sorry, even before his own album, The Game. Yeah. So he actually put everyone else on. He could have kept his momentum going.
That was steady videos for that was 03 till 06 easily.
Did you guys get the deluxe version with the documentary DVD?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Do you guys remember?
That was a great DVD.
Do you guys remember when he takes the butter knife and he's talking about how you always gotta have something on you?
And then at the awards, then Young Buck stabbed someone with a butter knife, someone who tried to go after Dr. Dre. So you do always gotta have something on you.
Dude, the fact that they picked up the butter knife, I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. That's so
that shit was crazy. That shit was
one
crazy.
question from Lee J before we move on to Wandavision. He says, "What's your top 3 lightning in the bottle hip hop album?"
Oh no, we can't, guys. We won't even end up doing the shows because that's such a long conversation. No, for real though. Like I'm
it's true. It's hard to. You'd have to think about.
Yeah, you can't.
The Carry Should I Triangle is an easy
let's
one.
do that one next week. Let's add that for next week though, because that's a conversation. I'm down to have that. Okay. But WandaVision. You guys watched it? Did you guys all watch it?
I did.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
I loved it.
Okay,
I'll say what. Okay, people suck with their impatience, boy.
What's that?
Well, I'm not impatient.
Not you. I'm seeing people on the internet being like 2 episodes in and nothing's happened. It's like, have you?
A lot has happened.
Well, for me, it was more the fact that I didn't expect anything to happen. So when I started seeing people getting upset, I was just like, but you guys realize first of all, I understand what people are. I understand one aspect of it. People were excited for the first foray back into the MCU since the end game. So I get that people were just like, yo, we're going to get into WandaVision. We're going to get some House of M shit. We're going to have babies popping out. She's going to be doing some shit with Witch. No, dude. It was I Love Lucy and Bewitched. That's what you watched. That's literally 100%. What.
But within those shows,
yes,
knowing that there wouldn't be much to go on in terms of visuals, I was looking for the clues and the hints that's leading me to figure out what this show is about.
Yeah.
You know the scene where she picked up the helicopter?
Well, no.
You had the sword symbol on it.
Yes.
The commercials. Named Strucker.
Yeah.
Obviously, Strucker has something to do with this. And then all these voices on the radio trying to, it sounds like she's stuck inside her head and someone's trying to reach out to her from the outside. Is it Sword? Yeah. Is it Strucker or someone associated with them? Is it Mephisto?
Yo, but
I actually think Vision is Mephisto.
They aligned with Mephisto.
Ooh, that is a nice theory. That is a nice theory.
That's bold.
That is
or Agatha's husband that you never see, but she mentions all the time.
Agatha's husband. Oh, okay. No, I think Agatha's Agatha seems like she's an easy person to turn.
Agnes.
But it's funny that you think you don't think they're real people, right?
No, they're real people, dude.
I think they're real people.
I actually think it's all fake.
Monica Rambeau
is true.
Yeah, dude, it's all fake because she's creating her own reality. Like you saw her literally go no and change the reality because she wasn't ready to see what was going to be revealed to her in that episode of the show. Yeah. But they're based on real people.
Yeah. Monica Rambeau is in the episode in the second one.
Yeah. So we know that. I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I think if anything, my interpretation of what they're doing with this is that this will show. I don't know what's happening. But I think the overall arc will be that Wanda will realize how powerful she is because she has created the world that they're around, that's around them. And that's why I think Vision is actually real and everything else is maybe fake. And this will be the first stepping stones to if they ever decide to make a House of M movie because she could reflect on this series and be like, I can fix things how I want them to be fixed.
But she's already
I
done
actually
that.
don't. Yeah, I don't want a House of M movie unless we're gonna have mutants. And at this point, you've already put Wanda in the driver's seat, and I don't want to see her back seated to bring back to the driver's seat later. Like WandaVision is her show. This is her blowing up right now. Don't give me a WandaVision or a Wanda movie in like 5 movies. Well, actually, we know it's not even in 5 movies. It would be in like 9 movies because we've already seen the whole slate of a whole bunch of movies they're planning to come out with. If anything, you might be able to do it as part of a season in a WandaVision season 2, but I don't even think they want to do multiple seasons. I think they're going to do limited runs, and these are just going to be the bridges in between the movies that are going to come out.
So I was okay. In terms of like looking up the clues and stuff, the moment that the second episode was done, I was like, all right, let me go back into comic book.
I'm about to hit you guys with some shit real soon, so I'm gonna let you go.
So you know that character that she kept kind of having a confrontation with, Dottie?
Yes.
The leader of the suburbs.
Oh, I'll tell you about that.
She is potentially, again, probably a reach, an obscure, what's it called? Clea? She was the Sorceress Supreme. In the Dark Dimension.
There you go. Her
and then that's the connection. Dorma, exactly.
And her husband, John Smith, in the comics, who is her husband in the show.
Yeah. So I actually think this is a whole like Mephisto, Dorma, like whatever situation going on here. And that's why Doctor Strange will be tied in at the end of the show. And that's how, like, why are you expecting so much to happen, guys? This is the beginning of a new phase.
That's why
they have to lay the
to like big movies or big events happening. Like it's not going to be.
That's why Agnes is after Darkness.
Wait,
I'm tired. And sorry.
Agnes, her neighbor, is Agatha Harkness.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Do you think Agnes? You think she's bad?
I
think we're meant to think she'll, like, you know, like they place those characters that are like a Trojan horse, like they want you to think that's the character that's gonna go bad, but she has to be good.
Like she sees the mailman, she's just like, you know, put him up. I don't want any mail coming here. And then like he walks by, she checks him out a little bit, and you're like, okay, that's weird. And then Dottie mentions like, oh, the devil is everywhere, and then you hear her, she's like, that's not the only place where he is.
Yeah, that's true. There are like weird comments that make you think.
I
don't trust anyone, really, right?
There's the 6 diamonds that form on the head when the show pops up and closes. That's a hexagon. There's the 6 that's missing from the clock. And I'm not saying I found this shit. I just read this stuff. So it's like,
I didn't notice that.
They're hitting you. They're less like, he's here. Like,
there's definitely a call out to time a couple times, including the watch commercial. So it definitely makes me think there's a time space thing going on here. I'm excited, guys. I don't know what everyone is upset about.
I think there's a build up. And that's one of the things that really sucks, that as fans, people can't, like you were saying, man, that people don't wait. They don't want to be patient for anything. They want everything right now. And we make this comment about generational cuts. Our generation understands buildups. The next generation does not. For them, it's like spoil everything, have people break into the studios and get it on Reddit. Like, it's like, yo, just wait for the damn movie to come out. Wait for the show. It's going to be so much more entertaining.
That's one of the downsides of the internet. I hate it for this reason.
It's almost like they didn't really see the past 10 years that happened. You know what I mean? Like, did you guys not wait 10 years for Endgame and you want them to just rush through what you supposedly think might be House of M? If you're really getting House of M, I'm not seeing it in an hour long. Technically, it's only been an hour of new MCU.
There's no way this could be House of M.
It's not. It's not. Definitely not. What it is, though, it is her getting her children Wiccan, and that it is all the buildup from those comics to Avengers Disassembled and her snapping, but she may not snap in the same way and may not cause House of M. She may cause mutants to show up. She may cause something else, but she ain't going to be like, you know what I mean?
So she is going to have her kids on the show, right?
Oh,
yes.
300%.
Everyone's expecting. Yeah.
Quicksilver from the X-Men universe might play Speed.
I heard. He's going to be playing a role. We don't know what role yet, though, right?
Wait.
Yeah,
which one?
The guy who played Quicksilver
in the X-verse
might play Speed for Sun.
Evan.
Yeah.
Evan, whatever, the guy who's also from Kick-Ass. Yeah, go on.
Evan Peters. Peters?
Yeah.
Peters. Yeah. That's something
That would
that's
be
floating around out there. That'd be so
that
dope.
would be such a nerdy, awesome fucking nod to have him show up and play Speedy. Like that would be I would fucking love that. That would be that's when you know they're doing it for the nerds. It's not just for the casual fan. It's like for you movie nerds who've been here for 10 years and watch us make movies and watch Fox make movies. Check this out. We're gonna drop this little gem for you right here. And that's pretty cool. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
So am I.
Grand Army. I haven't watched it. Is that the Netflix show?
Yeah, I will say I just wanted to touch on it a little bit.
Okay.
It's what's that show with the what's that?
Isn't it? It's an art school?
No, it's like it's a public school, but it's one of the top public schools in Brooklyn.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was an art school.
No, but like
I thought it was like Fame.
Yeah, they like focus on excellence in the arts. Like one of the characters on the show is like supposed to be a really good like saxophone player, and him and his best friend are trying to get into like this big saxophone or this big orchestra event. I don't even know. I can't remember the name of it.
It does not sound like the show.
I like the show. I just feel like it's just a more culturally diverse 13 Reasons Why. Only difference is that it's not focused on one person, which is good.
Okay.
It's just they take you through all the characters on the show get equal footing, right? And they're all from different. So you have a Pakistani guy. I think he's Pakistani. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But he's someone who ends up questioning his sexuality, and then they touch on like the issues with him at home and how that's affecting him. And there's blah 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 blah. There's that. There is the Asian girl who was adopted by Jewish parents. And she gets teased by all the Chinese girls in schools, but she also doesn't fit in with the Jewish people because she's not one of them.
Yeah.
So there's a struggle of her trying to figure out who she is, and then seeing how that could really fuck with someone. And her turn, I forget her name right now. She's the Asian girl on the show. If you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. Her turn and where she ends up at the end of the show that's probably the best. I think that's going to be the best story of the next couple of seasons. Arc? Yeah, best arc.
Okay.
And then you have the typical jocks. It's oddly enough, again, not oddly enough, but it's something that's still happening. There's definitely a rape-centered storyline as well.
Yeah, that's what turned me off the show.
This girl who's super feminist. She always wants, she's fights for like being able to wear whatever you want in school, blah, blah, blah. Like that's her character. She's supposed to be the strong girl. She ends up being the one who gets raped by her best friends.
In a cab too, boy.
Yeah.
And the cab
and the way it happened and the way it played out, and this is a spoiler, but at the same time, it's not because it's a central part of the show and it goes on for episodes. She's very outgoing. She's very lovey-dovey with her guy friend. She sits on their laps, like they're all close, really almost too close.
Yeah.
To anyone looking from the outside, you would think she was a slur, S-L-U-T. But I understand her wanting. She's like, well, I just want to do what I want to do. I want to like hang on my guy friends, and I want to sit on their laps. You know what? If I want to make out with this guy right now, I can. Like she has that civil liberty to do so.
Yeah,
it touches on this line of like, are you within that?
Yeah,
sending the wrong message, sending mixed signals to the point where these guys, they all got drunk. They're in a cab. She's sitting on one of their laps. There's 3 guys in the cab with her. One of them really likes her. Her and this guy were flirting this whole time, but he's her best friend's brother, and her best friend said, "Don't hook up with my brother. Yeah, I know how you are. Don't hook up with my brother. You're only going to end up like ruining our friendship." So, but she couldn't tell him that, and he could sense something was off the next time he saw her. I don't know why. Oh, okay. She felt like she didn't owe him. And, she's very like, I own myself. I don't feel like I owe you an explanation as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Which to me, I felt like that was a flaw in her approach.
But she also doesn't owe it to the friend to listen to the friend, because her friend doesn't have the right to tell her what to do.
So these are the kind scenes. So this is the other story where I'm like, it makes you think about like, I don't want to say anything was her fault, because she obviously does not deserve that happening to her. And at the same time, I go,
stop it. They should have stopped, and that's just that.
Right, but here's the thing: she does say stop it, but because she's drunk, it doesn't come out. And the guys, I'm sure they can feel her writhing, but they kind of hold her down, and you know what I mean. It was like at the end of the day, it is hard to watch, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. They definitely held her down. They know what they did was wrong. They might not classify it as rape because there was no like penis to vagina penetration. It was just fingering, but you ripped her underwear and she's bleeding. It's rape, bros.
Yeah, they raped her.
But because she was drunk, because they were filming in the cab, they made her look bad. Right?
For shows like this, I'm tired of that story. I'm tired.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like what exactly are you trying to show it? Like, are you trying to show us that they should have just stopped? We knew they should have just stopped. Did you have to go for a whole sexual assault subplot in every teen show? Yes, I think what's interesting.
It happens, right?
Yeah,
I think the only thing before you continue, the only thing that's different is that I've never seen it be the best friends. Right? Like the two guys she hangs out with all the time. She grew up with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then their relationship got to that point, and now she feels like she doesn't, she can't show her face. She's embarrassed, and it's kind of like how she's dealing with what life is now. She called them out because of how strong she is. She raised her voice quickly. She went to the police, did a rape kit. She's like, "I'm gonna call you guys out," and then they get away with it. And now it's like, oh shit,
okay,
what's happening to my life now?
This show lost me. The second it's like people getting away with rape again, it's like, well.
Yes.
Again, let's just keep.
But here's the thing: I don't want to give away the rest. This is a big sensitive part of the story, but and there might be more to it that makes you change your mind. Is all I'm saying.
If unless you guys are showing a scene where she pops one in the back of the head, I'm not interested because that's it. I'm tired of this game where they're playing like this girl gets assaulted and they get away with it, and she's living with the consequences, and those guys. They feel guilty, but they don't really actually care that much because, people think they're rapists, but their lives go on and they don't actually serve time. Nah, man, show me some peppermint style vengeance. You do that to me, I pop you. Let's show the world that there are consequences instead of just running these stories where it's just like, the legal system failed us again. Nah, I'm tired of that.
You know what show did it the best? What show got him back the best? It was the sequel to the teleporting show. You know what I'm talking about, Brian?
Teleporting show
with the girl. She would it was the sequel to that movie with Hayden Christensen.
Oh, Impulse.
Impulse, where she crushed a car and crippled that dude.
Yes.
I still that show's gone.
Yeah, that was a good show. I know some people are gonna say like revenge porn is not good either. But I want if we've done. Like we say it all the time. If you've done like 5,000 years of telling stories and we go back as far as Zeus gets to run around and rape every other woman, and here we are telling these stories now, we're still having best friends, the closest people that they trust are still the ones assaulting someone, and we're not actually showing any consequences. Well, then when you give me the one show Impulse where she uses her power and dude up hard, and I was like celebrating. I was just like, yes, this is what I want. So, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's like Brigerton. I've been getting into mad arguments with people because people are getting mad because we're calling out the girl Daphne. I don't know if any of you watch Brigerton, but the girl Daphne rapes the Duke, and then people get mad, and I'm just like, yo,
I watched the first 3 with Paige and I stopped watching. This happens.
Yeah, I fell off. I mean, what happened?
When she has sex with the Daphne doesn't know how babies are made. She doesn't realize that to ejaculate is what creates the baby.
Okay,
dude. She finds out.
Show, that's why I'm so. The show makes women look.
Don't it?
And
well, hold on. I will give it to the fact that it is set in 1814. Like we're talking legit. It's that old. So I understand a world where they didn't teach women this stuff. I get it. But once
he taught her how to touch herself, that was the last episode I watched, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, I did not watch the show.
And then, but like he teaches, like she finally finds out how babies are made, and she realizes that the reason they have sex every time he's about to come, he pulls out, is because he doesn't want to have kids. So she gets mad, and then when she's having sex with him, she pins him down. It's very clear too. Like, I don't understand how people are saying she didn't rape him. She pins him down. She goes on top when he's close, pins him down, puts her hands on his shoulder, and keeps riding him. And as he's about to, and he's saying, wait, what are you doing? And you see him mouthing, and you see him struggling. She waits until she keeps riding him until he ejaculates. And then when she gets up, she even like does a face like he says her name. She makes a face of like, good for you, gets off of him. And when he's just like, what did you just do? She walks out of the room and she starts acting like, that's what you get for not telling me why you didn't want to have kids. And that's it. And people don't think that's a rape scene. And I'm like, I don't understand. It was against his consent. You know for a fact he did not want to do that. You forced him to do it. You put your hand, like, it's clear that she has her hands on his shoulders, pinning him down. And people are just like, oh, I didn't see him yell or throw her off. Okay.
It's a double standard though, right? Everyone should be held to the same level of accountability.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy. I was like literally like shocked for a bit. That people don't think that's rape. That's doing something without someone's consent. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the sexual assault. Like, it's so clear, and I'm like I don't understand. And then there's like people in the chat in this group on the message telling me off and telling me, you're just trying to make something out of nothing. And I'm like, are you guys what? Like, but then there are other women. Yeah, there are other women who are jumping in like, no, he's right. What are you talking about? Because it's mostly women who are defending Daphne, saying she was right. He's blah, blah, blah. And, one woman is just...
I'm sorry. I know. I'm dating someone, I'm not ready to have a kid. And that's the same. That's the equivalent as cutting a hole in the condom.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. If it's considered rape when a man like has sex with a woman and then takes the condom off and continues to have sex with her without her consent, which is what, like, if you're having sex with someone and you agree that you have to use protection, if you take the condom off, actively take the condom off and continue to have sex with her, they consider that a sexual assault because she's
saying no, put it back, or like what?
Yeah. Like if you continue and she doesn't know, that's considered a sexual assault. So that's why, like, when I'm like Tobi said, if you pop a hole or if you pin down and ride until I ejaculate, it's
same thing with the guy's pinning the girl down and fingering her in the cab. How is that any different?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
I immediately didn't give this show time because the way they positioned black people in the 1800s. I'm sorry, I'm a realist. No.
Yeah, Ava said as a woman she was disturbed with that scene as well. It's pretty logical to me. Anyone would be disturbed by that scene.
This whole show was disturbing. I just left it as it was like, nah, man.
Bridgerton's not a bad show, and I was actually really excited. I guess I'll make this my no. I'll say this. When I was watching the show, the thing that excited me the most about it was the fact that they didn't.
Tell us what excited you there, Brian.
They didn't address race. They weren't addressing race as an aspect of the show.
No, everyone just was equal footing.
But then there's one moment where there's one line, and they address it, and I'm like, why do that? Like, in a world where
I believe it's perfect. Matter of fact, when I started watching it and I saw black people, I was like, oh wait, what?
Yeah,
that's the show started going. I was like, oh, we just don't care then.
Exactly.
You can't go from not caring to fucking mentioning that.
Yeah,
sorry for swearing there. I that's stupid.
I know. I was annoyed about that. Go ahead, Skinny.
The queen character mentioned it. She said, "If it wasn't for our king for falling in love with one of us, duh." And I'm like, why'd you even do that?
The Duchess lady, yeah. When the Duchess says, when the woman who raised the Duke says it to him, and you're just like, how did you? That one line completely changes the show. That one line, and I was just like,
it makes it feel like there's no meritocracy.
There is.
They didn't deserve it. They were sort of just put there.
It kind of was, because if that was the actual case and the king actually fell in love with a black woman, and at the time things were fucked up back then as how it actually was. Do you know how long it would take society to actually have to reform back then for the shit in Bridgerton to be allowed?
Yeah,
I know. Out of here.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. They should have never done that. They should have stayed
in the 1900.
Yeah, I honestly, watching the show, I was so excited, and then when they got to that one line, I was just like, it's so close. So close. I literally said, I remember I turned to my partner. I was like, so close. We were so close to having a show that doesn't have to address race. And it's not like they were trying to erase it. It was just the fact that it's normalized. We live in a world where this is normal. And I was like, I'm here for it. And then no, they took it away. And I was just like,
you can't erase race. It's in your face.
That's fair. You can't erase race. It's in your face. That's fact.
I feel like I heard a few people complaining about the main character Daphne being plain. I feel like the homie should have been a little bit darker.
But
I don't even understand what they mean.
If we're not going to care about that stuff,
right?
They should have just left that out. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. They definitely with the leads could have gone a little bit more.
Like I'm not trying to see Drake be the black lead. Like, fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then the lady who helps him and his dad is darker. Did we ever meet the mom? We did meet the mom.
No, we didn't meet the mom.
Yo, we saw her briefly giving birth and dying.
Oh yeah.
Can we talk about in how in Black flicks or even certain roles where you'll have like the lead main character that you're supposed to appeal to is like the super light skinned dude, but his parents are dark, and you're like, come on, just give me that.
Oh yeah.
I want to see.
I mean, I think he's supposed to be taking after his mother, even though his mother was not that light. But I remember, yeah, there's a lot of shows where it's like the parents are dark and then the kid comes out lighter. Or weirdly enough, I've seen shows where they flip it, and I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, there's a few times where I like look at my partner, I'm just like, genetics are interesting. This is possible, but not plausible. Like it wouldn't.
We can't go by TV and what they feed us.
Casting all wrong.
Yeah, we got another. Speaking of dark skinned motherfuckers, we got Omar C out there playing Lupin.
Yeah,
looking like a French Shaft.
Wait, you're talking about Lupin again?
Yeah, well, I want to give it a quick thumbs up. You suggested it last week, and I was like interested in it. It's essentially, I find it very Sherlock Holmes-esque with how they presented and done things. The only thing
that's where it's from, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, is Arsène Lupin technically Sherlock Holmes's?
It's a mix. I think I don't know which came first. If Sherlock came first or that came first, but their personalities are kind of similar.
Yeah. The only thing that threw me off
Lupin came after, and when Arsène Lupin, the author of Arsène Lupin, wrote a Sherlock Holmes story in which they go up against each other. It wasn't officially Sherlock Holmes though, because they didn't have the rights to the character. But then eventually it was
that would be very cool.
I said it wasn't canon.
Yeah, exactly. Technically, it's
that would be a good movie in general. To be quite honest, it's pretty sweet. But
super dope.
The only things that threw me off is for some weird reason I thought this was like a miniseries of 5 episodes. So like when it got to like the second last episode, how it ended, I was there. I'm like,
yeah, I haven't watched it.
How is it gonna possibly? And then when it got to the end, I'm like, oh, there's more. So that threw me off. But the only things that I would say were not believable, and these are little spoilers, so if anyone is paying attention, don't pay attention for the next like 30 seconds. But the whole how he got into the prison, that no.
But it makes sense.
I know it makes sense what he says, but overall, no. If you had to be there for like an hour and just like get in and do something, he was there for days. By the time he gets to the medical center, you're like,
but see,
how do you not?
Here's what makes sense, Dave. Here's what makes sense. It's not a spoiler.
You didn't see that?
It's not a spoiler.
No, I just said twice, and Skinny also said I didn't see it. That's why he walked away.
Sorry.
But it's not a spoiler. It actually, my face just zoomed in there.
Sorry.
It's actually at the very beginning, the first episode. One of his main lines that he says is, "You saw me, but you didn't look at me." So he uses people's racist, whatever, colorism, whatever you want to call it, their prejudice, biases against them. That's what makes him so strong, is that he's aware of these things and he plays within those lines. So he actually doesn't think his plan will work. but he trusts your bias and your judgment, and like at face value enough to go through with his plan, to be able to go into prison, literally take someone else's place in prison for a few days.
He takes their what's that thing? What's it called? It's bliss. Ignorance. He takes people's ignorance in general to get by.
Turns it into his own bliss.
And I won't say anything about this, but I'll say it to Tobi. The scene.
Well, then don't say it. You can't say it. I'm not going to say anything.
No, I can use like one word.
I'm still here.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's
not really fair because like when Extraction came down, you guys ripped that shit down.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I'll give you
for several movies. So I'm saying one word that's not going to ruin anything. The interview part, the outcome, the interview part. If you could remember in like the later episode. Okay, I'm not gonna say I
remember now.
Oh man, I can't even type it to him. Damn it.
Okay. Just DM him on the side afterwards.
Anyways, there's just one other thing that when it happened, I was like, I was shocked at how smart he is that he would not expect a certain outcome or a certain way to potentially flow. So for him to like,
I know what you're talking about.
For him to take a risk like that, I was like, that's foolish. That's for the character that you're watching. It's foolish that he would be ignorant in that regard.
But it's all part of the plan.
Well, we don't know. There's one season of this, which I found out at the end of this.
There's a lot of luck. There's a lot of luck involved. Like he plays odds. He plays odds, right? He's a gambler. He's a hustler. Yeah. So everything he does is well thought out and planned out, but he plays the odds of something happening, and he usually has a backup, and sometimes he gets lucky. But for the most part, I think his thought pattern and how he sees things through things is what's always set him apart. It's what all these people have always been drawn to within him, all the people around him, right?
Other than those two things, the show is impeccable. Like I was very like, it was like one of those shows where it's like, midnight, I'm not going to watch another episode, but you're going to be the first thing I watch when I wake up tomorrow.
Yeah. It's near perfect, actually.
Yeah, it's very well done. Even the because I watched it, I didn't realize until like maybe 10 minutes, like, oh, it's dubbed. Like the actual dubbing itself was also pretty well done. And then I put the subtitles as I was watching the dub version. But it was a very good show. Like 2 thumbs up. Like very, very addictive show.
Yeah, it is. It's super dope. Titty, what up, man?
Yeah.
He added a message. Just started Lupin 2 days ago, and I really like it. But big Lupin 3 fan, and the series got my seal of approval. By the way, Happy New Year's, and hope y'all living your best in these strange times. Yeah, that's one thing that I found interesting. It's not related to Lupin the Third at all, which is something I didn't realize. I really thought he was going to be the ancestor, but I am looking forward to going back because I feel like it's true. A lot of people have been going back to the anime now that they're finding out about Lupin for the first time. If Netflix is smart, they get the rights to all that Lupin stuff and the new movie that's coming out too. We got Geek News and Rumors. We got some Moon Knight news. Ethan Hawke to play villain in the Disney Plus Moon Knight series.
No way to that show.
Did they even officially announce that it's Oscar Isaac? Is it official? Because I am.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, they announced it during the big one.
Yeah, it was official.
They announced the show. They didn't announce anything.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
No, they announced him in the Disney Expo or whatever.
Yeah.
They just announced him.
They announced the series. They didn't announce Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight.
It's the same thing as She-Hulk. Like where
no, but they did announce Tatiana Maslany.
They announced, but they didn't announce. Yeah, they announced Tatiana, but they didn't because that's it. I keep looking everywhere, and everyone keeps saying Ethan Hawke to join Oscar Isaac, and I'm like, okay, but where's the official report that Oscar Isaac has been cast as Moon Knight? So if someone finds it, please let me know because I'm down to discuss it. But because I feel like we would have discussed it if it was official. Because I feel
like we did discuss it because it was official. Like that's the thing that I'm laughing about.
We discussed the rumor that he was being tapped, and said we think it's a good idea. We didn't discuss that he was officially tapped. We also
I see.
said he would be amazing in the role, but they have not officially said he has the role.
Okay, so Moon Knight series cinematographer Gregory Middleton confirmed on his Instagram, "It's an honor to be a part of introducing a new character to the MCU. Who says cinematographers worry about white costumes? Not if they are complex characters played by an amazing performer like Oscar Isaac."
Boom.
And that's it. That's the only time it's been mentioned.
Yeah, so I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Although,
Hey,
actually, leading into our next one after this, I feel Marvel at this point puts a ton of misinformation out there to throw.
Yes, that's the thing. Thank you for seeing things the way I see it. Marvel likes to play so many games that I can't trust anything anyone who's working on any project is saying. Tatiana went and did a full ass interview, and when was
I actually hate her for that. And hate is a strong word, but I actually did not respect that at all.
I hate it. I don't hate her, but yes, again, I don't respect what she did.
It's just like they did commercials for Endgame that there were blatant scenes not going to be in the movie.
I don't trust Marvel for shit. They are giving us all the time.
So speaking of which, do you guys believe that rumor?
What rumor?
About
Charlie Cox filming in Spider-Man 3. Charlie Cox aka Daredevil.
I want to see it.
No. Let's not. He should be. He is. He will be there. He is. And not because. Wait,
will you be disappointed if he's not? And it was all just a rumor.
I won't be disappointed if he's not, because they're not that stupid. Meaning they know what they have with Charlie Cox, and they're not going to like dash it away like that. Like that was their two top. Punisher and him. So they're bringing him. Luke Cage, they might be like whatever. Jessica, they might be like whatever. But
terrible actors. No.
But bet your ass
Luke Cage did a good job.
What?
The guy who played Luke Cage did an okay job.
They're both whack. I'm sorry.
I liked him. You think I'd put him a post? I think he did a good job.
But the thing with having Charlie Cox, though, is that they don't have to re-see the story. They could just like, boop, there you go.
Yeah, I don't think those two fit in the MCU. It's just there's something too street level about them. They're like literally, if TV was street level, that's what they are.
But if I'm being fair, Charlie Cox did an amazing job at street level. I don't think Charlie Cox's Daredevil should be in the cinematic universe.
You don't? I think out of all those characters, he's the one that fits.
Was the best. Oh, I would say Punisher's version would be the one that could fit. Barenthal's Punisher is a better MCU than Cox's Daredevil.
What would he play? How does he fit in the MCU given the current landscape and aesthetics?
That's why they couldn't put Punisher in MCU. They could put Daredevil.
But that's but they should put Punisher, because you can't have all that light and no dark. All your major villains have been these huge, insanely crazy characters. Who has been the street level villain and who's been the street level guy taking care of them? You showed us
Iron Man had a ton of street level, so does Spider-Man.
Go ahead, Skinny. Sorry.
I'll continue what I was saying. Charlie Cox will be in Spider-Man, not as Daredevil, because they say he's going to be in there, but there's no.
Oh no! What if he's just Matt Murdock, the lawyer?
That's what I'm saying. Is just Matt Murdock, the lawyer, because there's no saying, as you're saying, he's not good for MCU movies. There's no saying that they ever have to get Daredevil his own movie ever. Yeah, you give Daredevil a show and people are fine. They never have to give Daredevil a movie. They only have to give a show. Daredevil is a TV show character. Punisher is a TV show character. You can't make movies about these guys.
Punisher, you could make a good Punisher movie if you.
I like how hesitant you were there.
You wouldn't rather in a TV show.
You could though. It's just that you have to actually put effort.
Dave, why 3 hours when you could do 10 hours? Why?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I agree. If you were going to use Barenthal, I would say use Barenthal as in the same vein as the new series that they're going to do. So again, bring him over and put him in a show, or put him in the background of something. But the same way that they're never giving Hulk another movie, and I know that has more to do with licensing. But at the end of the day, we didn't need another Hulk movie.
Nah.
We already have enough. So he does a great job being a side character in the films.
Yeah. Also, certain characters just tell better stories as hour-long TV episodic television versus
We also only got one Hulk movie.
yeah.
Related to that.
In
it's the only one that
we only
exists.
have one Hulk movie, and frankly, all the Hulk stuff before is not. It's not the scale or up to par with what you got going on now.
No.
Mike K's Thomas Jane's Punisher film was awesome. I didn't like it as a movie. I thought it was a little silly sometimes, but it was. But you know what was good? The short film they did, the laundry thing, that was like 7 minutes. That they were
amazing.
I was just like, yo, this again. Sometimes it's the small things that they do. Where, like, have you guys ever seen the clip they made of the Daredevil 70s movie that they wanted to do? Where it was gonna be set in like the 70s, and it was like raw, and it was like New York, and the city was dirty.
Negative.
Yeah, but it was good, man. And that was just like this small concept, and I was just like, damn, that would have been good, and I would have been down to see that. You know, almost like it, kind of like imagine the world of Gotham in the film Joker, but with Daredevil in it, like that New York. That's what it looks like. And that's it. Yeah, that fits. If you gave me that as a movie, I'm down. Daredevil in this world now, I'm not as interested.
Well, give me a Daredevil story that we could actually put out as a movie that wouldn't etch out better as an episodic miniseries.
I can't.
Guys, what if Spider-Man 3 somehow involves Fisk, and that's why Daredevil's in it?
Okay, I'm down for that. You're right.
I'm down with that.
Either way, I'm down.
If anything, the movie could also potentially be the launch of Daredevil season 4.
Who knows?
Oh, I don't want it. I don't want Disney Plus to try and do Daredevil, because they're not going to do it the same way Netflix was doing it, where they were essentially, John Barenthal's Punisher doesn't even, like, you could never do that on a Disney Plus service. No. That's not even Hulu. Like, Netflix got away with it because Netflix was doing it. Yeah. They're never going to do that stuff over on the House of Mouse.
That's a problem with House of Mouse, though. They need to learn rated R. Well, mind you, with
they announced it. Yeah, Deadpool 3 is going to be rated R.
Which, like, thank God. Okay, but we're going to make a Deadpool 3 not rated R? I was like, what are you going to tell us, say poop jokes? Like,
well, okay, let me really double down on that. Because what the fuck did we really get with an R-rated Deadpool movie, except for poop jokes? Like,
no, but I mean, I'm talking about, like, actually using the word poop and not saying fuck and swearing and killing and maiming. Going to, I guess you're
the virgin fucking like requests again. Like, what did it really do for the movie? Deadpool made a couple dick jokes. He said fuck a couple times.
It removes restriction for Deadpool. You don't need restrict. It's just like why Logan was very, very good. Is because at least you remove the restriction, so whoever wants to tell the story can tell the story however the fuck they want.
However, Logan utilized it well. Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, to me, didn't make a difference, except for if it was.
I would agree with you on Deadpool 2, not Deadpool 1.
It didn't make a difference to me.
Deadpool 1 to me was good, and I think mostly Deadpool uses the R rating for the violence more than anything.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
And for him to say things that in a non-rated R movie he wouldn't be able to say.
No, but he also didn't say anything too crazy.
But
he didn't say anything crazy.
He has a thing where it's Ryan Reynolds with like the current kid he's acting with, and the kid is repeating the intro to Deadpool 2. I mean, like, it's pretty obvious the things that kid shouldn't be saying.
I understand, but you can do that with a rated PG-13.
Exactly.
But I've seen that on that
they're using the rated R just for the shock value at that moment. They're not using it because because what you're saying about them being open would be useful if they were using it to tell the story. If you're using it just for the shock value in comedy, that's different. And them using it that way is shock value. But we'll be saying
rated R is the boys'
Deadpool
TV show.
Is though. Like even when you read his comic books, that's all it really is, though.
No, rated R is the boys' TV show. The Boys. That's rated R.
Yes. Right. There you go. The Boys is the best use of rated R in comparison to what Deadpool is trying to do. Because The Boys is set in a universe where PG-13 doesn't exist. This is the world. And that's why with Deadpool, I would rather, if Deadpool was doing that, I'd be more excited.
They use our rating to get us in theaters.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Boy howdy, do they?
But like, what are the other Marvel movies rated? Are they rated PG?
Yes,
Some of them.
PG-13. None of them have been rated R. Logan was the only one that was rated R.
But like you wouldn't be able to like in PG-13 movies, you wouldn't be able to have like the blood and gore that you have in a Deadpool movie, no?
The blood and gore looks so fake. I don't really.
Which I agree, though. I will agree that they should do a better job going forward with that, I guess, because he's the type of guy that does get cut like in half and is still walking with his other half attached to him. You know, like
highest rating for Marvel. It's even more the TV shows. But Deadpool, age 16 plus in some areas. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Defenders, and Legion. Yeah, most of them are PG-13. Yeah.
It's because and we know why they do it. Because PG-13 is a wider audience. They can get families to take their kids and whatnot. Speaking of the boys showrunner Eric Kripke confirms the Herogasm story arc for season 3. People are pretty excited. Say what?
Mm-hmm. It's one episode.
I know. That's the thing I find weird. It's not going to be the whole season. People got really excited as if like, whoa! It's like, I mean, it's episode 6.
It's only like a 6.
Yeah, there's only so much.
And isn't the only thing that bad happens in that issue is that they say they're going to go fight something, but then they just go on vacation, and it's because they find out that they went on vacation, and that it results in shit when they come back. Isn't that how like superheroes say? Because I read it earlier today, it's like the superheroes say they're going to go somewhere, like fight an alien race somewhere off planet, and in reality they go to like a club med for themselves. Yeah, and have
they went to Epstein's Island.
Yeah, do a huge like orgy and shit, and then they come back, and it's because the world finds out that they did that instead that they have repercussions. So you could for sure do that in an episode.
Yeah.
They were. It was. I don't know how they're gonna make this grounded in this reality by saying they're going off to fight aliens, which would be.
Yeah, but they could figure something else out that says that we're not going to be in New York anymore, and we have to go undercover or something like.
Exactly.
We'll see.
But whatever, so we'll see. I mean, people were really excited because nerds saw something from the comic books and said, "Oh my god, we're getting a thing!" It's just like, yes, the whole show has been from the comic book, guys. I mean, I don't know why you
like the last scene in the last season was like one of the best scenes in the comic book. Like
I'm personally over the boys. I want Invincible. When's that dropping?
That's coming soon. They've done the voice work. They had the first trailer, so we should be seeing it soon. Last bit of news right before we sign off: Titans season 3 cast Savannah Welsh as Barbara Gordon. So we're gonna have Barbara Gordon in season 3.
Commissioner Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
It is going away from lore, which is kind of. I mean, mind you, the show's always teetered away from lore, but stayed in the lore. So I think it depends on how they execute it.
Amen.
It's going to be wheelchair Barbara.
Yeah, wheelchair.
Oh, she's in it. I thought she was past that.
This actress is an amputee herself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably more real then. That's what they're going to do.
I was secretly hoping that when they said Commissioner Barbara Gordon, that we were going to get Batman
Beyond Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, I think this will be just our Barbara Gordon eventually.
Yeah. Hey man, the creator, the guy who did Batman Beyond said it's ready to be a movie any day now. You guys hit us up. We got the storyboards. Let's do this. So
Let's do it. The whole damn show is from beginning to end a movie.
Yeah, they said they're ready. So.
We need no Batman until after Homeboy's Batman next year.
True.
We need no Batman until 2040. I need it now.
We've had that.
That's you're talking about in movies in general, or
Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I would think of Batman Beyond though.
Yeah.
No.
I want to see that. Man. I'm sorry. It's such a cool future.
It's a different story.
It's a much different story.
It's a different story.
Mack. It's the future, and come on.
The only way you can make any more new Batman movies is if they James Bond shit. You do not retell the story at all. You tell whatever current story you want to tell.
Yeah, I don't want a Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, I'm done with.
Exactly.
So if you give me Terry McGinnis,
that's my thing, Skinny. I don't want Bruce, but I would still be down to see like a Batman Beyond.
I never see another Robin.
I'm wrong though, because Skinny, you're right. Because at the end of the day, Bruce is still in Batman Beyond, so I still got.
Yeah, but he's not Batman.
He's still there.
But for me, it's more. I want to see Nightwing. I want to see Red Hood, and I wouldn't mind seeing Damian. And these are people. I think Nightwing and Red Hood could easily have their own movie or be in movie.
Nope. Oh,
I think so.
Be in a movie is very different from having your own movie.
Nightwing could definitely do it. Maybe not Red Hood.
No. Nightwing needs a show. Again, Nightwing is like Daredevil. Put them on the small screen. Don't give them.
Nightwing is also more of a procedural.
Yes.
Like his storylines.
Skinny looks shocked.
Why do people beg for DC things to be created? Listen, you want this shit?
I want to see Red Hood live action, bro.
Go!
I'm putting it out in the universe. I'm ruining your universe by putting it out there, Skinny. I want a Red Hood live action.
No, I get it, man. DC is fucking up every single one of their own properties.
Yeah.
You know what? Tell DC to Marvel. Let Marvel make the movies for you so they don't fuck it up, and then it's fine.
Oh,
my house with that bullshit.
Yeah,
get out of here.
Get out of
here.
I'm
saying it. And then have the real crossover when all the characters are like merged with.
You want all access? The comic book? Get the fuck out of here.
It's Darkwing. No,
album comics. You want to?
No.
Yo, shut his mic off.
Yeah, done. Get out of here.
Comics.
Sorry, Dave. I'm cutting your mic off. And I'm removing you.
Oh my god, yo!
I get it though. I get it. As much as I get excited, I don't get as excited for DC anymore. But sometimes I'm like, I'm an optimist when it comes to comic books. I still believe they can do right because I've seen them do right.
Yeah.
Out of 20, they've done one right.
2, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, even though Aquaman's not the best.
Yeah, the first Wonder Woman, and that's why it's so shocking.
Oh no, don't so then. We'll end up being here another half hour. We got to sign off.
Let's get out of here.
Wonder Woman, no, we don't give you any more time.
No,
reclaiming my time.
Deserve the love you give it. That's
True.
it. DC does not deserve your love like that, man.
The closest DC gets to actually getting on Marvel's level is taking Marvel's directors and bringing them over and being like, hey, what you did there?
Who will be in the Suicide Squad? We'll know the result after we see Suicide Squad.
True.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Well,
Marvel director? Okay.
No, Whedon.
Nah, I don't count Joss Whedon.
I don't count
count. That shit show of a movie don't count.
I don't count either.
Before we sign off,
kids, Mike.
Before we sign off, if y'all don't believe that Joss Whedon fucked that shit up on purpose, you don't know what you're talking about. Stop it.
Oh,
Joss Whedon fucked it up on purpose. I think he just fucked it up because he didn't.
Thank you. I agree with Dave there. I don't think
we'll see what happens to Cameron. I'm telling you, Feige's paying these niggas to fuck up their movies, man.
Shit.
Oh. Damn. Do
I
you really think that deep?
James Gunn. Let's see. No, I mean, if Gunn, but you know what's funny though for Gunn.
Gunn.
The IP was already so stupid that even if he goes in and fucks it up, they're just gonna be like, "That's not on him. The IP sucks." Like they're not gonna blame him for the failure.
Exactly.
They're not. They're gonna say, "What did you expect?" It's the Suicide Squad was not.
Are you saying the whole thing with Marvel firing him and everything? That's deep.
Said it from jump. They did that so
they're like, so we're gonna drag out some of your bad, dirty laundry so the world can have an eye on you, just
so you can be an infiltrator and double agent.
If that's you for sure know that he has like his own island somewhere because that's what they did with that Disney money. They're like, you want me to do what? They're like, we'll give you an island. He's like, sure.
Okay, boy. Anything you want? Oh, okay.
This is a screenshot took from Wandavision.
Yeah. That's my boy. That's my boy right there. That's my dude.
Look at that.
Who that? Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper's helmet.
Yeah.
That's why it looks familiar.
Yeah.
It's just an ode to him. You know.
That's hilarious.
Crazy.
Because in Avengers 102, Grim Reaper tried to take Vision's consciousness and put it back in Wonder Man.
Oh yeah.
And Wonder Man is his brother.
Just go back and watch the 2 episodes every 10, 15, 30 seconds there's something. There's something in there that like makes you wanna dude.
Shit. All right, guys, we gotta sign off. It's the end of the show. Want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. All the comments, you guys, we appreciate it every week. It's really, really good. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I know we don't usually say that stuff because we kind of just like to have the conversation, but that stuff does help. If you guys want to review us on iTunes, if you want to follow us on Spotify, if you want to check out the website, do all that good stuff. All the links are in the description on YouTube. And that's it, man. We're out. Anything you guys want to tell the world? Anything?
John Favreau isn't the mastermind of the MCU. Feige is. Favreau is the fire starter, though.
Okay. We're signing off, y'all. Peace, everybody. Disco lights.